There are moments each and every NBA season that present the perfect opportunity. An opportunity so important, so impactful, so crucial that several NBA teams around the league look to seize it. Ladies and gentlemen, we are living in that moment right now. The Golden State Warriors are an absolute disaster, but they have several young, key, impactful players on their roster right now. If you're the Knicks and you're looking to get a key piece for a low price, now might be the time to strike. And recently, the Golden State Warriors benched a young player that they had on their roster, a young player that helped them gain a championship a few years ago. Andrew Wiggins. We're going to break down today why it's the perfect opportunity for the Knicks to get Andrew Wiggins and what a particular trade package would look like for the Knicks to get Wiggins on this roster. All of this and so much more today. So be sure you're subscribed to the channel and have notifications turned on so you don't miss a second of the new content. And now, let's get started. Right now is the perfect opportunity if you're the Knicks to trade for Andrew Wiggins. Now, before I get to why this is the perfect opportunity and why I think the Knicks should make this move for Andrew Wiggins, let's first get to why this is even possible. If you've been following the Warriors like I have been this season, then you know they have been an absolute train wreck, a disaster. And it really started with Draymond Green. And this has actually escalated recently. Because recently, the NBA has actually announced that they're going to suspend Draymond Green indefinitely. Indefinitely. No timetable for a return, but it is likely that he is going to return for the Warriors this season. But still, there is no timetable for it. Could be 10 games. Could be 15 games. Could be 20 games. Hey, it could be the rest of the season. It could be until they make the playoffs if they're lucky enough to make the playoffs. So that was announced. Then after that was announced, this report came out for the Warriors. Moses Moody might be ready to replace Andrew Wiggins in the starting lineup. Moses Moody. Andrew Wiggins, a player a few years ago that helped Golden State win a championship, might be benched at 28 years old for a player in Moses Moody. So that report came out. And then Shams from The Athletic reported the following. Shams stated and suggested that Jonathan Kuminga could secure a permanent starting position if he performs well during Draymond Green's absence. Why is Jonathan Kuminga the first option? Immediately when you hear this news and you hear this report, you think to yourself, why isn't Andrew Wiggins going to get more touches and more opportunity? Because now he should be able to thrive with Draymond Green out of the rotation. He should be able to get more touches and be able to thrive with that rotation. But that wasn't even the case. They just announced that Jonathan Kuminga could potentially get more minutes over Andrew Wiggins. So let's go ahead and point that out. And then, after this was reported, the following was reported. According to Shams, Golden State is making a change. Andrew Wiggins to the bench. Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Brandon Podge, Jonathan Kuminga, and Kevon Looney start. And they started last night against the Clippers. And the likelihood is they're going to continue to start for the rest of the season. And we don't even know if that's going to happen even when Draymond Green comes back. But one thing we do know, as the graphic indicates, Andrew Wiggins has been benched. And now you're where I am. This is why I'm here and stating that the New York Knicks need to go out and get Andrew Wiggins. The Golden State Warriors just benched him in favor of Jonathan Kuminga. I thought after Draymond Green and this whole situation happened with him, with his indefinite suspension, that I thought Andrew Wiggins was going to get more touches, more opportunities, more of a chance to thrive and see what he could do this season. Because honestly, I feel like he hasn't really been able to do that. He just really hasn't been able to get into a rhythm or a flow with this Golden State Warriors team on offense or just in general. So I think a change of scenery actually might help him and help the roster that he's going to. Because if you remember, when he went to Golden State initially, that was a change of scenery for him. And when he did that, he was one of the main reasons Golden State was able to win a chip. So let's remember that. And if he goes to another location, who's to say he's not going to get that Who's to say he's not going to have that same impact? Who's to say he's not going to be able to do that for another team or another roster? And that's why I've been saying, Leon Rose, you got to make the call and see what it would take to get Andrew Wiggins on this Knicks team, especially because now he's been benched by the Warriors. That means his value is even lower. Now, I understand a lot of you guys are already writing in the comments, it doesn't make sense, Troy. Have you been watching the Golden State games? He has been looking like one of the worst players in the entire NBA this season. Yes, I understand that. I've watched a few Golden State games this year. I understand why he's gotten benched. I understand his impact when he's on the floor has really been non-existent. He can't get it to work with playing alongside Steph Curry and Klay Thompson. So I can understand a lot of you guys thinking that if he can't get it to work with those guys, why would the New York Knicks want to trade for him and get him on this roster? It wouldn't make sense, especially because he is having a very, very bad year. As Shams mentioned here, he was benched for a younger player in Jonathan Kuminga. So you know he has to feel a type of way about that because clearly he doesn't want to come off the bench. He wants to start, but the impact is not there. And I think it has something to do with the problems that he's dealing with and all the situations that's going on with Golden State right now. And I think he needs a change of scenery. And if you gave him a change of scenery, who knows what you could get? May I remind you guys, he is 28 years old. He is a wing, so he already fills a position of need for the New York Knicks. He can help stretch the floor. He can create his own shot. He is a bucket getter. He is a playoff performer, a proven playoff performer. And if we get to the playoffs again, we may not only have to rely on Jalen Brunson and RJ Barrett. Maybe if we get Andrew Wiggins, we get to rely on him as well too. You can say what you want to say about what he does during the regular season, but in the playoffs, he shows up and he gives you his best. He did that for Golden State, and I think he would do that for the Knicks if we were able to get him and go to the playoffs. We forget a lot of the time that he helped Golden State get that chip only a few years ago. Now, I know he's looked like a shell of himself the last few seasons. I get that. But a change of scenery might be able to unlock him and help him. He's a great defender as well, too, so he would fit with Tom Thibodeau and the defensive schemes that he's running. And let's not forget, he used to be coached by Thibs, and there's no animosity, no bad blood there. Absolutely, I think Tom Thibodeau would welcome coaching him again because he would welcome that size again. If the Knicks get Andrew Wiggins, they would start him. He would start at the 3, RJ Barrett would move back to his natural position at the 2, and the Knicks would have more size, more spacing in that starting lineup. And that means your drivers, RJ Barrett, Jalen Brunson, and Julius Randle, have more of an opportunity, more of a lane to thrive. Oh yeah, and by the way, Andrew Wiggins is not the first option, not the second option, not even the third option on this Knicks team. He would be the 4th option on this Knicks team. You're telling me he can't have an impact? You're telling me he couldn't help this roster? Well, it seems like that's what the New York Knicks fans are telling me because we recently ran a poll with the New York Knicks fan base. And shout out to everybody who voted. I believe the votes cast tallied to 1,265 votes. So shout out to you guys for going ahead, participating, and engaging with this particular poll. But if you look at the question, do you want Andrew Wiggins on the Knicks? A whopping 71% of you guys said no, and 29% of you guys agreed with me and said yes. These are the final results, and if you want to participate in things like this, go ahead and follow at the Knicks Recap on all social media platforms. We run things like this on a day-to-day basis. 71% said they wouldn't want to see him on this roster. Now, maybe they're saying that because of the contract. Maybe they're saying that because of his down years. Here's what I say. This is what opportunity looks like. This is what Leon Rose, other presidents, and other GMs around the league need to look at and need to do. This guy is a young wing on a down year. Yeah, he's making a lot of money, but that may be a reason that when you trade for him, the trade package for him may be very low. And in a few seconds, we're going to get to what that particular trade package is. But that's why you do a deal like this. When else are you going to get a trade for a wing who's young at a low value package? When else is an opportunity like this going to present itself? If Andrew Wiggins was playing like the Andrew Wiggins that got Golden State that chip, would he be worth the trade package that I'm about to show you? Shout out to NBA Analysis Network for giving us this potential trade package the New York Knicks could entertain. In this trade package, the Golden State Warriors get Evan Fournier, Isaiah Hartenstein, and a 2024 first-round pick from the Knicks, and the Knicks get Andrew Wiggins. If I can make that pick a protected first-round pick versus the first-round pick from the Knicks that might be unprotected or protected to a certain extent, I might do it. I'm not giving up one of the New York Knicks picks, but if I can get away with one of these protected picks that the New York Knicks have and that trade package, I might do it. Now, you might be saying, why are you giving up Isaiah Hartenstein? He's one of the best backup NBA bigs in the league. I know that, don't get me wrong, but so does the rest of the NBA. And he's on a contract year. The Knicks are going to have to decide whether to pay him or to trade him and let him go for nothing or potentially use him to get something significant back. So if the Knicks already know that they don't plan to re-sign Isaiah Hartenstein, then potentially they might be able to use him, Evan Fournier, and one of those protected picks that they have, and maybe a couple of second-round picks, at least to get the conversation started with Golden State to get Andrew Wiggins on this team. And I think if that's the package, given the circumstances that we're talking about here, Isaiah Hartenstein potentially not re-signing and potentially going elsewhere this offseason, then maybe the New York Knicks consider doing this deal. And if you like Isaiah Hartenstein, or maybe you want to keep him, you want to retain him, okay, then maybe you don't include him in the deal. Maybe you try to get away with a Miles McBride or a Quentin Grimes maybe. Maybe you try to add one of those players in this deal. And if you do that, you might definitely get the deal done, get Andrew Wiggins on this team, fill a position of need, help this Knicks team elevate, get better. Oh, and by the way, something that nobody is saying or considering. Let's say that Andrew Wiggins plays up to par. Maybe he doesn't play exactly the same Andrew Wiggins that we saw a few years ago, but he still plays better and becomes a very good defender or showcases his defensive skills more with the New York Knicks. His value is going to increase. If that value increases, his contract paired with maybe Emmanuel Quickley's contract and a couple of picks, that package sounds a lot more enticing to get the Knicks a star than potentially Emmanuel Quickley, Evan Fournier, and a couple of first-round picks. If you look at the trade packages side by side, one trade package sounds like it'll get you a star, and one trade package sounds like you hope it will get you a star. And I think we know which is which. That's another reason why I think the Knicks should do this move, because it helps them now and it helps them in the future. So for me, it's obvious. Leon, pick up the phone, make the call, and see what it would take to get Andrew Wiggins on this Knicks team, because he just helps this team in so many ways. And if Tom Thibodeau can help him come back and become the player that we saw a few years ago, even half of that player that we saw a few years ago, he's going to instantly help this Knicks team and make this team better in the East. Instantly, the Knicks must make this call. It's the perfect time and the perfect opportunity to do so. Leon, please pick up the phone and make this trade happen. Get this deal done and help this Knicks team succeed even more this season. But what about you guys? What do you think about this situation with Andrew Wiggins? Would you want the New York Knicks to entertain this trade and get Andrew Wiggins on this Knicks team? Or do you agree with most of the New York Knicks fans that we polled and think that the Knicks should not even entertain this and should stay away from Wiggins? Let me know in the comments below, guys, because honestly, I would love to hear from you. But that's going to do it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, go ahead and smash that like button, leave a comment below, and of course, guys, please subscribe to the channel. Until next time, Knicks fans. Peace.